So my name is Cara Romero and I am a contemporary fine art photographer. I'm an enrolled citizen of the Chemehuevi Indian tribe. I was born in Inglewood in the Los Angeles area to mixed race parents. My dad is Native American and my mom is Anglo. Everything that was taught in school, all the way up through media, was all wrong. I think I knew from an early age that I wanted to tell accurate contemporary stories about Native people. And it was an instant love with photography. You want to see it? It's so beautiful. This was done as part of my time in the Los Angeles area as well with the Indian Collective's grant, Radical Imagination Grant. To me, art is everything, and there's nothing more pure. It's just the amazing connector. It is something that we can use to communicate complicated ideas and not assert answers, but inspire people to think. Sometimes the photographs are inspired by the person and how I can tell their story, and sometimes they're inspired by the issue. Maybe it's a response to environmental destruction, or a response to resource extraction, or a representation in the media. But sometimes the photograph is just very much about the person, but to hold space with lots of really good ideas and good intention, and then let what wants to happen, happen. I received the Radical Imagination Grant in August of 2019, and it was such an important moment in my life. To receive a project-based grant of that amount meant that I was going to be able to make not just a project, but a body of work that I honestly believe I otherwise wouldn't have been able to make. I had applied for the grant in the spirit of being a Southern California Native American woman to tell a story about the invisibility and misunderstanding and misrepresentation that we face as Southern California Native people. There's 19 tribes along the coast that never received what they inherited by human right, by Indigenous rights. And they still live today. I wrote the grant to be able to tell that story in the Los Angeles metro area through a public art installation that took place on billboards the following year. And the more I learned, the more I thought, I don't know if I can do this story justice. And so I sat in council with the community and I presented some ideas that went back to my initial idea of intertribal celebration. I went with ideas of doing more portraits and more work there in Tongva. And I hope that the story that I was able to tell will move other Native people to begin to think about how we can be better allies to tribes that do not have their federal recognition. This one went up on a billboard on Melrose, which was pretty fantastic, with the hashtag Tongvaland. There's so many holy places, buried under the industrial empire of LA, and I think it's really important that people remember that. I'm so incredibly thankful for the Radical Imagination Grant. The self-care component, I combined it into taking my pod with me to California. That would have otherwise not been possible. And so I was able to leverage those funds to keep my family together, which was incredibly important. This life of being an artist, of being sober, of being on a journey to heal is already pretty radical. I thought that I would stop making photography as a mom and I think that that's kind of like spiritual suicide for the artist to stop. It's important to know that sometimes when you're making really good art, it's going to be really controversial. And we're not all the same people. And so it's okay, even when we have differences of opinion within our own community. And I think if you're making artwork and you've looked at it and you've said, this is scary, but this is my truth, then you're going to be okay. Because how can your own truth be wrong?